Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we'll be discussing about the superficial palmar arch. Okay. Now, talking about the superficial palmar arch, this palmar arch is basically an anastomosis and very important anastomosis between the ulnar and the radial arteries. Okay. I'll explain you via the diagram. Okay. You can see that this is our ulnar artery, this is an radial artery, and this is the anastomosis that is between the ulnar and the radial artery. Okay, you can see the convexity of the arch is directed towards the fingers and is directed towards the fingers. Okay, now talking about the formation, now while writing the answer of the superficial palmar arch, it is very frequently asked. Okay, and along with the deep palmar arch, you have to include 3 points: formation, relation, and branches. Formation, relation, and branches. Now, talking about the superficial palmar arch, the superficial palmar arch is formed as a direct continuation. Okay, I repeat, it is formed as a direct continuation of the superficial palmar branch of ulnar artery. Okay, it is formed by the direct continuation of the superficial palmar branch of the ulnar artery. Okay, एंड ऑन द लैटरल साइड, ये तो मीडियल साइड पे हमारी अल्नार आर्टरी होगी और हमारे जो लैटरल साइड पे इट इज कंप्लीटेड बाय द सुपरफिशियल पाल्मर ब्रांच ऑफ रेडियल आर्टरी. सुपरफिशियल पाल्मर ब्रांच ऑफ रेडियल आर्टरी. ओके, नाउ once again, superficial palmar branch of ulnar artery medially and superficial palmar branch of radial artery laterally. So this is the formation of the superficial palmar arch. Now, make sure that you know that the superficial palmar branch is completed, okay, and by the radial artery, and it's the continuation of ulnar artery. Okay, please emphasis on this words, that is the continuation of ulnar artery and it's completed by the radial artery. Okay, now talking about the relations. For the relations, I will just add another diagram to this so that you can understand the relations very well. Just give me a minute. Okay. So now, according to this diagram, you can see the superficial palmar arch. It lies deep to the palmaris brevis. Okay. It lies deep to the palmaris brevis and it lies deep to the apna flexor retinaculum. The superficial palmar arch lies deep to the flexor retinaculum. Okay. It crosses the palm over the flexor digiti minimi. This is our flexor digiti minimi, and the flexor tendons of the fingers and the lumbricals. It passes the palm over the flexor digiti minimi, the lumbricals, and the flexor tendons. Okay. Now, talking about the branches, we can very well see that these are the branches of the superficial palmar arch, जो यहाँ पे ज़्यादा अच्छे से क्लियर में दिख रहे हैं तुमको. Now, जो हमारे ब्रांचेस है अपने सुपरफिशियल पाल्मर आर्च के, दिस आर 3 common digital branches and 1 proper digital branch. Okay, so this is the 3. See, this is the proper palmar digital arteries and common palmar digital arteries. 3 common digital arteries and 1 common proper digital branch. Okay, which supplies the medial 3 half. Now 3 and half, which supplies the medial 3 half of the digits. Okay, now once again see the branches. This is the one main अपना palmar digital artery and 3 common. Okay, the lateral 3 common digital arteries which we are seeing here, these are then joined by the metacarpal arteries from the deep palmar arch. This अपने lateral 3 जो है, these are then joined by the metacarpal arteries from the deep palmar arch. तो यहाँ पर हमारा नेक्स्ट टॉपिक ही हमारा जो है वो दैट इज अपना डीप पाल्मर आर्च. सो दिस वाज एंटायरली अबाउट द सुपरफिशियल पाल्मर आर्च. इफ वी रीड द टेक्स्ट वंस, so see, superficial palmar arch is a direct continuation of apna superficial branch of ulnar artery. On the lateral side, it is completed by superficial palmar branch of the radial artery. Relation lies deep to the palmaris brevis and palmar aponeurosis. Crosses the palm over the flexor digiti minima, flexor tendon of finger, lumbricals, and the digital branch of the median. Now, branches: 3 common digital branch, 1 proper digital branch, supplies 3 half of the fingers. Lateral 3 digital palmar arteries is joined by the corresponding metacarpal artery from the deep palmar arch. ये तो थियरी है जो मैंने ऑलरेडी डायग्राम से समझाया. जैसे मैंने हमेशा बोला है कि बस डायग्राम याद रख लो तो सारी चीजें अपने आप याद हो जाएंगी. ओके, नेक्स्ट टॉपिक जो हमारे पास है दैट इज डीप पाल्मर आर्च. नाउ, talking about the deep palmar arch, you can see here Now talking about the deep palmar arch, जो अपना deep palmar arch है, that is formation. अगर हम इसके भी formation की बात करेंगे, so the deep palmar arch is formed mainly by the terminal part, is formed by the terminal part of radial artery, formation by the radial artery, and it is completed by the अपना ulnar artery, and is completed by the ulnar artery. ठीक है, ulnar artery की भी being specific तो deep palmar branch, deep palmar branch. तो ये हो गया हमारे formation of the अपना ये deep palmar arch. Repeating once again, in the superficial palmar arch, it is a continuation of ulnar artery, ठीक है, and it is completed by the radial artery. For the deep palmar arch, it is formed by the radial artery, completed by the ulnar artery. Now, relations you can see through this diagram that it lies deep to the abductor pollicis muscle, and then the flexor tendons. We have all these flexor tendons and the lumbricals. It lies deep to the flexor tendons, abductor pollicis muscle, and the lumbricals. Okay. Now, talking about the branches, for the branches we have, if we see this diagram, we have the palmar metacarpal branches. Okay, this palmar metacarpal branches we generally have in the second, third, and the fourth spaces. In the second, third, and the fourth spaces, you can see the palmar metacarpal branches. Okay, then we have the perforating digital branches which pass through the interosseous spaces, and then the anastomosis with the dorsal metacarpal arteries, and then we have the recurrent branch, okay, which supply the carpal bones and the recurrent branches. So talking about the branches, ये एक बार देख लो, ये सब तो मैंने ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन कर लिया है. Three palmar metacarpal arteries which run in the second, third, and the fourth space, okay, which join the common digital branches of the superficial palmar arch, okay. Then we have the perforating digital arteries. It's okay if you just write the name dorsally. We have the perforating digital arteries, perforating digital arteries, and we have the recurrent branch. We have a recurrent branch. Okay, so सुपरफिशियल और डिजिटल पाल्मर आर्च इन जनरली डीप तो नहीं पूछेंगे, तो सुपरफिशियल पूछेंगे. ये हमारे अगर हम हैंड में उसका लोकेशन देखेंगे तो ऐसा कुछ लोकेशन है इसका. दिस इज द डीप एंड दिस इज अपना सुपरफिशियल. मेक श्योर एमसीक्यू में पूछता है कि कौन किसको कंप्लीट करता है और कौन किसको ये करता है. दिस इज अ लाइन डायग्राम. I have kept this so that you can name them. Make sure that you name it correctly. Okay. The upcoming video will be on the facial spaces of hand. Make sure that you have completely understood the superficial and the deep palmar arch. If you have any doubt, then you can feel free to ask me. You can directly DM me on Instagram. या फिर आप जो है वो इस वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में अपने डाउट डाल सकते हो. I'll surely reply to it. Thank you. Stay tuned for more such upcoming videos.